أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم الحمد لله رب العالمين أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الحمد لله وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم أما بعد Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. First and foremost, I would like to just introduce myself, inshallah, for those who don't know who I am, what my name is, what it is that I do. And Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, my name is Abdul-Walee. Abdul-Walee, like Wali ad-Din, right? Defender of his deen. Abdul-Walee, Abu-Amani, Al-Fresnowwy, right? Which means that I'm from Fresno. I represent my town, put it down. And we say Al-Fresnowwy just like Albani, Sheikh Albani, right? You're telling people where you're from, right? That's your kunya, right? Abu-Amani, Al-Islam, Al-Fresnowwy, right? These are just things that are called kunyas, so people don't know. If you don't know Al-Fresnowwy, it means he's from Fresno. Which Abdul-Walee? Abdul-Walee Al-Fresnowwy, the one from Fresno. Who is he? Abu-Amani, he's the father of Amani. If you don't know my daughter, who my daughter is, and you don't know, then you don't know who Abu-Amani is. Okay, but that's the kunya, it's called a kunya. But Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, my name is Brother Abdul-Walee. I'm from Fresno, California. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, I've been Muslim since 1991. I took Shahada in 1991 after reading the autobiography of Malcolm X. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guided me to the deen of Islam. No one gave me any pamphlets. No one gave me any dawah. No one took me to the masjid. Nothing like that. Alhamdulillah, Allah had blessed me to come across the book, the autobiography of Malcolm X. At that time of my life, I was searching. I didn't know my purpose in life. Just out of high school, and alhamdulillah, just so happened the book came across my hands. I snatched the book, and I think the book was like 700 pages. And I think, I don't want to put the 210, maybe 3-4 days, maybe less than a week, I read the whole book. Once I started reading the book, this was before Spike Lee came out with the movie, before everybody jumped on the fad, the Malcolm X fad. I read the book before the movie came out. I think the movie came out in 92 or 93, but I took Shahada in 91. In reading the autobiography of Malcolm X, in the beginning pages, there's the foreword or the introduction. And in the introduction, it gives you a little piece from Roots, because the author of the autobiography of Malcolm X was Al-Fresnowwy. Okay, and Al-Fresnowwy, he was the author of the autobiography of Malcolm X as well as the author of Roots. So in the foreword, in the introduction to the autobiography of Malcolm X, it gave you a little section or a little piece of Roots. And what I remember profoundly in reading that book is that it talked about Gambia, West Africa, Kunta Kinte, the Mandinka warriors, Mansa Musa, Allahu Akbar, Jesus just being a prophet, don't eat no pork. So when I read these things, and I read that this African slave named Kunta Kinte, that before he was brought to America as a slave, they were Muslim. Not only that, the Kunte tribe, the Kinte tribe is a very big Mandinka tribe. Right? The Mandinka warriors are very well-known Muslim warriors. Right? Also with regards to ties to Mansa Musa, Timbuktu, the Mali Empire, all of that. So just the intro of the autobiography of Malcolm X, it gave me just a little dose. And even though I wasn't privy to that knowledge about Gambia, West Africa, but there was something in my fitra. When I read that Jesus wasn't God, I'm like, man, that makes sense. When I read that Jesus was just a prophet, I'm like, man, that kind of makes sense. When I read about not eating pork, I'm like, man, I done heard that somewhere before. I remember hearing that. We eating pork, but I know I heard that somewhere. I felt it. So when I started reading this book, I started going through a transformation within myself. Right, reading, Malcolm X and his daddy, and the Marcus Garvey movement, and how they killed his daddy, and racism, And then, you know, Malcolm X, how, you know, he's Detroit Red and, you know, he's doing all that and, you know, and then running numbers, cocaine, you know what I'm saying, pee popping and all of that. And then he went to jail. Malcolm went to jail, right? He went to jail for like 8 years and this and that. And when he went to jail, the story of him, you know, trying to transform himself and, you know, reading the dictionary, right? He did the dictionary thing. First word, aardvark, right? And so he went to the dictionary and all that. And then how profound his story was from him, you know, being who he was, going to jail, finding Islam, right, Nation of Islam, and then coming out and being a minister and changing his whole life, okay? So the story of Malcolm X and him going to jail, being an ex-P popper, showstopper, all of that, and then turning into being the best of the best, this was something that was motivating, right? So reading the book, going through the whole thing, from him going to the nation, from when he went to Hajj, and this and that, and the United Nations, and then being killed. And once I finished the book, after reading the book and after reading his life and his story, I made a conscious decision that I'm going to become Muslim. I didn't know no Muslims. I didn't read no Muslim books. I ain't been to no masjid. Nobody gave me a pamphlet. But after reading that story of Malcolm X and his transformation and how he went from pea-popping to, you know, being a priest, a minister, you know, changing his life, and then dying or being killed for that because he had love and concern for his people. So as I said, when I closed that book, I made a conscious decision that I was going to become Muslim. I didn't know how I was going to become Muslim because I didn't know no Muslims, but I said I'm going to become Muslim. And if I die, I'm going to die like that. When I die, or if I die, I'm going to die like that. I don't want to die for no broccoli, because you know what I'm saying, you want my broccoli. I don't want to die because I knocked your breezy. I don't want to die because of that. I don't want to die because, you know what I'm saying, you hating on me or whatever, you know what I'm saying, whatever it is. Man, if you want to do something to me, right, may it be because I'm striving, right, to do something positive, right, for my community, right? So alhamdulillah about me. So after I read that book, I made a couple of phone calls. Yeah, I'm become Muslim, and so alhamdulillah about me, I found my way to the masjid. I went there on a Friday. Alhamdulillah, and when I went there on that Friday, it just happened to be during Ramadan. So I took my Shahada on a Friday during Ramadan, right, in 1991. You know what I'm saying? Alhamdulillah, when I took my Shahada, you know, they went over the 5 pillars and stuff like that. And so after I took my Shahada, the brothers was like, well, now, you know, pick a name. You know, pick a name that you will, you know, proclaim your thing. You know, pick a name. And so I was advised to pick a name. Whatever name that I pick, make sure that that characteristic, you're going to put it into your repertoire, into your characteristic. Whatever it is that you feel that you are or whatever it may be, you know what I'm saying, that you pick that name. So we went through the 99 names. And so when I got to the word defender, I said, well, you know, that was my favorite game growing up, defender, you know, defender. And I said, but at the same time, I want to be a defender and protector of the truth. When I came into Islam, I realized that I was being lied to. I realized that there was a systematic plot to lie to us, to keep us hindered, and to have us going to the hellfire. So with Allah guiding me to the truth of Islam, right, I made a conscious decision to choose the name Wali. Right? It's like, I'm defender. I'm like, well, that's why I want to be defender. Well, what's that name? Well, that's Wali. I said, well, that's what I want to be. Wali. I want to be Wali. I want to be a defender. I want to be a protector of this deen. I don't want nobody to lie to me no more. Ain't nobody gonna lie to me no more. I'm gonna make sure I know the truth. I'm not gonna be blind following no more. You're gonna, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna put the banana and the tailpipe on me. None of that. So alhamdulillah, that's how I chose the name Wali. You know, so thus Abdul-Walee, and thus I do strive to implement those characteristics into my life, inshallah. So that was in 1991, you know, when I took Shahada. And alhamdulillah, what I mean, I had some good brothers. I had 2 imams that taught me. They studied in Saudi. One of my imams taught in Riyadh. So this is something a lot of people don't know, but I did study from 2 imams that studied in Saudi. I went over the subject matter of TAUHEED, fiqh salat, fiqh bay, fiqh jihad, tajweed, TAUHEED, tafsir. So all of these things I studied under two imams, Sheikh Solomon Morgan and Sheikh Shapir. Alhamdulillah, so alhamdulillah, today, there's some other things in between that, but today, alhamdulillah, I am a member of the new Darul-Islam International Movement. I am a member of the new Darul-Islam International Movement, as well as the West Coast Director of the new Darul-Islam International Movement. Alhamdulillah, under the Emir and leadership of Imam Isa from Masjid Taha out in Roosevelt, New York. And alhamdulillah, I brought today a couple of books from the Emir. We have some books for any brothers or any sisters that would like to know about the Dar, would like to know about the movement, would like to know about the history of the movement. And again, let this be known that the movement, the new Darul-Islam International Movement, is a continuance of the leadership of Imam Jamil Al-Amin. Imam Jamil Al-Amin, he was our Emir of the new Darul-Islam International Movement, right? While Imam Jamil Al-Amin was incarcerated, Imam Isa Abdul-Karim is the Emir, or was the Emir while the Imam was incarcerated, okay? This delegation of leadership, this delegation of authority was given specifically by Imam Jamil Al-Amin, okay? So thus, after the passing of the Imam, Inna Lillahi wa Inna Ilayhi Raji'un, the natural successor to Imam Jamil Al-Amin, all those who love, appreciated, and said that they had bay'at. And this is very important, because there's a lot of people that said that they had bay'at under the Imam, or bay'at under the Dar, right? When the Imam passed, right? Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Those of us on the board, we affirmed our bay'at with the Imam, with the Emir Isa Abdul-Karim. And so there are some who still haven't reaffirmed their bay'ats, and we're waiting to see you reaffirm your bay'at, because we need clarity, right? We need mobini. Especially in the times that we're living right now, we don't need to be living in a time of ambiguousness, or am I under the bay'at, or am I not under the bay'at, or am I loyal, and am I not loyal? Because see, we have certain situations that come about where your bay'at, your loyalty, right, your solidarity, whatnot, it counts. And if you're under bay'at, we know certain things is mandatory for you. There ain't no if, ands, buts about it. But if you're one who's teeter-tottering and not under the bay'at, then you go, well, I'm not under bay'at. So let me say this. So those who were under the bay'at of Imam Jamil Al-Amin, saying that they are part of the Dar or part of the new Darul-Islam movement, from the time that Imam Jamil Al-Amin was incarcerated, he delegated that authority to Imam Isa, right? This has been, as far as me, I've been part of the Dar now for about 5 to 6 years. So in this 5 to 6 years, this has been the pecking order, the structure. There is no other structure other than that structure. With regards to the delegation of the authority of the Emir of the New Darul-Islam International Movement, this was given to Imam Isa by Imam Jamil Al-Amin. Okay? So let that be known, the natural successor to Imam Jamil Al-Amin is the Emir, Imam Isa Abdul-Karim. Okay? Our base is in Masjid Taha, Roosevelt, New York. And again, alhamdulillah, the Emir gave me these books to anyone that would like to know the history, anybody would like to know the ins and outs. Maybe there's some things that you might have some confusion on, right? We have these books on the line, a Dove in the Club, you know what I'm saying? Alhamdulillah, to get some information. I read a lot, and yes, I'm part of the Dar, yes, I'm one of the members, yes, I'm on the board, but I'm going to say with an unbiased mind, man, this is a very good book. At first, I was skeptical, right? I'm like, man, let me see how it's going to be. But alhamdulillah, I've been taking my time with it. It's very well put together, right? Dalil, the structure, and it's alive. You move with it. You know what I'm saying? It's like somebody telling the story, a real story. I mean, you live it, right? So alhamdulillah, what I mean, we have 4 more books. If anybody that, actually 3 more. We got 3 more books. So any brothers that would like to get that information with regards to the Dar, with regards to understanding administration, with regards to the names, the players, the pioneers, man, get a bar of the book. We also have other materials. We have T-shirts on the line, TAUHEED movement T-shirts, as well as New Darul-Islam International movement T-shirts. Right, this is how we do our thing. Alhamdulillah, what I mean.